it's close enough to the end user case
Yeah,
that it wouldn't be a distraction or a detour,
exactly.
because they're really trying to mimic what the human body is doing, and they're going to be learning a
Right.
lot from that.
Hey, y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. Guess who I'm with again? This is Dr. Scott Walter, and he is coming to us from Yeehaw somewhere out west. Where are you right now?
Coming to you from Meteor Crater in Arizona.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah.
All right. On the road trip,
Yeah.
on the way out to X Takeover next week. So,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. And I
You wanna-
decided to overnight here. I'm at a campground right now. I'll give you a
Cool.
little tour in a second. But
Cool.
as you can see, my internet is right above me right now. It's above my head.
Right.
There
That's
it is.
pretty cool.
It's underneath the glass. Just a couple of suction cups that are on there to hold it in place. Some like little rubber
Yeah,
bandy
that's
thing, bungees that you have. Some industrial strength suction cups. And these two here basically to keep it from sliding backwards and forwards, the standard ones
Right.
you get for your shower. Well, that does
That's
it. And then
pretty
the plug
cool.
that's right here is that this is a barrel jack. I don't know if you can see
Okay.
where it's going in. It's a
Yeah.
barrel jack that comes in there, and then you just go ahead and then the 12 volt.
Pretty cool.
So I just
Wow.
picked up a 10-foot section for that, so you don't have to use the actual power brick that comes with it, which is a small one. So you don't need like an inverter to go to 110. You can go straight 12
Oh,
volt.
cool. So
to
it'll go
it.
straight 12 volt. That's good.
Yeah, yeah. So everything is working off of that right now, and
Pretty
I
amazing.
just had a nice little tour of Meteor Crater, and
Cool.
spent the day there. And there's a campground here, and I'm like, I want to see the stars tonight. So
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
I will be seeing the stars tonight.
That sounds
Okay.
pretty awesome. So
Now, the next question
yes.
for you, John, is
Yes.
which movie?
Are we going to go Indiana Jones? Or is it?
I
Because
thought
actually,
Oppenheimer, because
oh, Oppenheimer. Okay, wait.
Actually,
Before we
I
do
just
that,
was in
oh,
Mexico. That's right.
oh, Lane took my hat. I was going to go get my hat. I have an Indiana Jones hat I got at Disneyland the other day, which is in reference to a hat that I bought about 30 years ago at Disneyland. And both
Yeah.
of them were way too expensive because, of course, it was at Disneyland. But anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Well, part of the reason
If Lane hears this and wants to bring me my hat, I'll.
Yeah. When I go check out, I definitely need it to be able to keep the sun off my back and everything else. The baseball cap is not quite enough, so I decided to
absolutely
go with that.
I played golf with my brother yesterday, and the back of my neck got quite toasted because I only had a baseball cap on. So.
Yeah, and
all right,
the reason why I'm wearing a Florida Sun shirt here.
Exactly. All right, so let's go ahead and add this video here. I have to switch over to the other browser to present it. So if there's something you want me to stop for or something like that, I won't be able to see you. So just tell me. But anyway, we want to talk about this. This is Clone Robotics, which I found out about. They've got a lot of really cool videos.
You just found out about them?
Yes, I'm behind. I know. I can see this was January 25th of 2023, so a year and a half ago. So I think I may have seen something
for at least a year. Because they're taking a very novel approach to humanoid robotics. And I'm really endorse it. I mean, it's going to take them a while to get full results, but they're taking just such a novel approach. I just love the fact they're doing it. And, they already know it's going to take a little while, but you can only do this with machine learning and AI algorithms.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
It's not something you do here. So we can attempt to do this now. And I'm not sure what kind of actuators they're using right now, whether they're just using pneumatics and what the future is going to be. But I think eventually you'll be able to come up with these very compact actuators, just lots and lots of them, to be able to get this kind of fine motion and everything else in control that looks.
It's quite beautiful. But I do want to point out that this one, you can see a little bit of the background. So it looks like pneumatics, yeah?
Yes, I believe so. I believe so. They have a lot of cables going through there, which are probably just like the pneumatic tubes, but their hand is able to do all the movement that you need, and maybe even a little bit more. It's hard to tell, but they really are cloning the biomechanics of the human arm, and are starting there, and then will eventually attempt to do the whole body. They want to duplicate the entire muscular skeletal system of the human body, and we know that's going to take a little while to get results. It's not going to be working in the factory tomorrow, folding laundry tomorrow, but someday this approach will. Someday it will.
So one thing, of course, is it's slightly creepy looking because, of course, it's very skeletal. I mean, it looks like the muscles and everything. You just took the skin off and you can see all the stuff. But I mean, pretty nice, pretty darn cool stuff.
There. and well, it's it's not blood going through these veins,
Right,
but
right.
probably air pressure. And
But it
that
looks,
pinky's a little weird. That pinky is a
yeah,
little bit
yeah,
crooked, but otherwise it's not
right.
bad.
Yeah, exactly. It does. It reminds me a little bit of Alien when, gosh, is it Bishop? No, who's the one? Anyway, like when he gets his head knocked off, and there's like all these like sort of tubes and milky stuff coming out of it. Anyway, it has a little bit of that feel to it, but it also
Right.
is very impressive if you look at the amount of dexterity this hand has, and the fact that the forearm and the wrist are very, very small.
Yes.
You don't have that bulky stuff that even Optimus has. So
But
very
that's
nice
what I want you to
execution and
see.
supination. So pretty
Is that
cool.
yes. And the thing is like all the wrist motion is like really built into the hand.
Right.
It's not like a hand plus a wrist that moves, but it's
Exactly.
really in there, which makes it very, very compact. So they are studying the biomechanics and movements of the human body quite effectively here.
Right. Right. Yeah, I have a feeling Gary would have something to say about all this stuff too.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, you can, and it's really interesting because it does look a lot like a human hand in the sense that it's got these tendon kind of. I know they're probably pneumatic, but it's very interesting how you can see them kind of flowing under the skin. So yeah, I'm just turning the sound on. Not that there's an awful lot to hear, but it sounds like a little like you can hear pneumatics or something like that going as it's working. So,
Right.
but I mean, but it is very cool. I mean, you could really believe that that was an actual human hand.
Yes.
Let's see, where's the other one? Unprecedented grip strength. So that's really cool right there. The fact that it can grip things very well. And notice just again the dexterity of it. With we've seen Optimus do things like this before, but the hand is much more bulky.
But
this is
look
very,
at that
very
forearm. That forearm, if you just look at the forearm, says, it looks like it's clenching something. It looks like its muscles are all tensed up and everything else. It's remarkable.
It's really cool. It's really cool. And you can actually just barely see there's a kind of a see-through section between the thumb and the rest of the palm, which I think you can see that back here. If I can pause it. Yeah, right there. So that's not the best frame, but there's like kind of a see-through area right here, which is very flexible, obviously. But then we've got some other ones, which are pretty cool, like holding a scalpel, which is pretty amazing. Again, this just looks like, I guess, just kind of a mesh. It's a semi see-through mesh that it's got there, but underneath it, you can see an awful lot of stuff.
Some sort of covering. Right.
Right.
Now, it almost looks like a really big latex glove or something like that that they have covering it, and some kind of artificial skin. And that's going to be something they're going to need to work on in the future because, my concern with this is like the durability, and that you could definitely start poking holes in it within like an 8-hour shift. So you might have to come up with something that's a bit more rugged. The other thing I don't know is what kind of sensors they have, whether they have any tactile sensors in there yet or not, or whether they're doing a little bit kind of proprioception. It's because they're using pneumatics. I'm not sure how you would get kind of the feedback that you would normally would with actuators. So it could be they're probably doing a lot of machine learning with it, and they're trying to demonstrate actuation. How do we get to go ahead and do that? The next step is going to be adding in obviously some sort of sensoric feedback.
Yeah. It's not obvious that there is any kind of feedback mechanism on here, certainly that I can see, but very, I mean, it's quite beautiful to look at.
No, I assume you may have the same feedback with pneumatics as you would with with electricity in a sense that you would see something will happen to your voltage as resistance kind of changes. When the torque starts to spike a little bit because you're getting resistance. Probably the same thing. Suddenly you'll notice, oh, wait a minute, the pressure is starting to increase here a little bit. My flow rate's going down. So you would see changes in which would be the equivalence of voltage and current. You would see kind of pressure and flow rate. And that may be enough for them to kind of use that as a kind of feedback. I'm trying to grab something and now, I can feel the resistance. I don't really need to apply any more force or pressure at this point. It seems to be right. And I'm sure it conforms a little bit to the up. So it's very, it's definitely compliant, which is what you'd like to see in a mechanism like this.
Exactly.
And you probably would not mind being around it. Creep, forget the creep factor for now, but you probably feel like it would not injure you if it fell over, was to strike you.
Yeah. So one interesting aspect of this video that I thought was kind of cool was, and this is a March 15th, so this isn't up to date, but this is relatively, there's clearly the clear tubes, which are pneumatic, but it looks like there's other kind of tendony gray. I don't know what those are, but
You know,
there's
that might be
definitely
just to kind of hold the whole thing together.
right,
I think it's
right.
called is it called the fascia? We
In a
actually
human,
have, yes, and the human is that we think we're made of bone and
right,
skin
right,
and
right.
muscle, right? And it turns out there's like this other structure beneath it that kind of helps hold everything together
Yeah,
that Gary Schneider kind of told us about. That it's like it actually is. It's almost like a netting that goes around your whole body, and it's somewhere between
yeah,
almost like
yeah.
its own nervous system that it gives you a certain amount of proprioception, but it also gives you a
Right,
certain amount of strength. So they've done
right.
demonstrations on that, and it adds like 10% of the strength comes from that, and the other 90% from your muscles.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it could be sort of the same idea, is that they've got some sort of mesh which is going to like hold everything in anyway.
yeah.
And who knows whether they can start to use that also the way the human body does as a source of feedback.
Right, right. But anyway, I mean, obviously, it's got it's got some reasonable amount of strength considering that it's holding 10
Yeah.
kilos, something like that. That's not
Yes.
nothing. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
humans that probably can't hold that very comfortably. So
Yeah.
obviously, we're just looking at an arm here, of course, as well. So it's not the rest of the body, but the arm is pretty impressive. And again, whatever it's got holding it there is working. So let me ask you this: you said definitely it would have machine learning. Is there a possibility that we don't have machine learning, and this is just more sort of, or at least not modern like neural network machine learning, and this is more just sort of learning a series of tricks, like do this, then do this, like move these things,
Yeah.
or do you think it's probably
Yeah, I suppose you could set up something that to come up with different kind of gestures that you'd want it to
right,
move through and do. But
right?
to me overall, it's going to be so complex. In the end, you need some sort of machine learning and neural nets in the background to really be able to control it. So
Yes.
yeah, maybe
Oh,
you'd probably
right,
get away
right.
with some early stages, some stuff. But I think
Yeah.
to really make it effective, yeah, you're going to have to combine it because there's just too many degrees of freedom there.
Right, right. Oh, I agree with you. I mean, there's no way it's going to be useful in a factory or serving ice cream or whatever. It's not going to be able to be useful until you add the machine learning. I'm just wondering if they've even dealt with that at this point, or if they're mostly just dealing with the mechanics
Right.
of it all to make
Right.
sure it works. But it's this is one of the reasons why I hear people talking about mass producing these robots and everything, and I'm like, it may yet be too early to do that, because we're looking at a situation like maybe this is the hand that you want to go for, and if you optimize too early, you run out of the opportunity to
Right.
create a hand or a leg or something like that, like this.
Yeah.
So
Now
these are
the thing about this hand that makes it possible is the fact
right.
that using pneumatics. I'm assuming it's
Yes.
pneumatics,
Yes.
hydraulics. And the beauty about those things is that you can deliver power over a distance very easily.
Exactly.
So your control
Exactly.
system, everything is going to have to be in your torso somewhere, and
Right.
there's going to be compressors and everything else. So you don't have to worry about the actuators being down there. The energy or the force is being produced somewhere else. And that's just a
Right.
really effective delivery mechanism that allows you to stake everything through a very slender wrist and everything else to be able to do that.
Right.
The question
Right.
is what the infrastructure is going to look like on the other side. And I think
Exactly.
Giant did that. Was it Giant Robotics? They also
Yeah.
had kind of pneumatic tendon-driven robot that had a big heavy base where all the pneumatics and compressed air and everything else was in there. And then you just need to have
Exactly.
these small valves, which in a sense are like tiny actuators that have to like open and
Right.
close
Right.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
could
Yeah.
be controlled with a very simple on off or maybe like a very small servo that opens it up and down. And we
Right.
just need lots of things to be able to control them in the correct way. And but that's the beauty of pneumatics and hydraulics is that you can have like
Right.
almost like one power source, and then it's just
Exactly.
distributing it where you want by opening and closing these valves at the right point. And that's exactly how a tractor works, like a John Deere tractor or something like that. It has one diesel engine, and that
Yeah.
diesel engine
Exactly.
has like a fan belt on it to run your air conditioning system and some other stuff, and it's connected to the transmission to make the tractor move forward and stuff like that. It's also connected to the compressor that creates the pressure for the hydraulic fluid that makes the backhoe go up and down, or for
Right.
that front,
Right.
the front lifter and stuff like that. So it's not like every one of those degrees of freedom has a separate motor or anything like that. It's like, nope. And all you have these valves that you open and close, which of course is what the operator is doing, just pulling on a lever that's allowing something to go back and forth. So in some sense, the operator is the actuator, right? Because they're the ones that are making the valves open and close. So that's the beauty of being able to do something like that. And if you can figure out how to make something like that much smaller, and hopefully not loud, because we know Boston Dynamics, they took that approach with the hydraulics, and it's really loud because you hear the thing basically going the whole time, much louder than that. And so it'll be interesting to see whether they can make something that's compact and quiet. And again, what's it going to be powered by? I assume by a battery or something.
Yeah. Eventually, but you can definitely. That's why I'm playing the sound right now, because you can hear. I think there's like you can hear the pneumatics. Working.
Right.
Yeah.
There's always going to have to be. Yes. There's going to be the air has to escape somewhere. And the thing about pneumatics that, depending on how much compressed air you have, you may not need to have a battery running or a big battery running it. Right. Because there are forklifts that are able to run in a warehouse for like 4 to 8 hours, and they just have one big compressed air cylinder. That's it. Right. That can actually move these. So it's like, well, maybe you just do the same thing, that you don't recharge this thing. You'll really go over, just fill it up with compressed air.
Right. That's interesting. Yeah.
So you just have a big COPV, and it's just got a lot of compressed air. Right. And you may be able to run it for a while, and like the recharge time might be really quick. So who knows? I mean, the sky's the limit.
It could end up looking like a scuba diver. It could just have a big compressed air tank on its back.
On its back, or maybe the smaller ones like what the firefighters have. But you think that's something you'd want to kind of build in the torso to make it more compact and everything. Somehow it would be in there. But I'm just kind of speculating on what their long-term approach is. Now they've been kind of a little bit in a stealth mode and just revealing a few things here and there. And I think they probably obviously have some financing. And my understanding is they're a company in Poland.
Yes.
And they've been doing this research for a while, and it's going to be groundbreaking, no doubt about it. They're going to develop some techniques and things that will want to be borrowed, or hopefully they'll put some patents together. The other thing is that it may be that before they really get the full bot, they may have like a business unit that's just able to work in special effects.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, in the movie industry,
like puppetry. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So there's a possibility there that a lot, and you don't need to have necessarily the whole body. Maybe it's just certain parts of it that would be there that'd be very convincing for certain movies. So that could be an avenue that'd be very interesting for them to go down, because it would bring revenue in, and at the same time, it's close enough to the end user case. That it wouldn't be a distraction or a detour.
Exactly.
Because they're really trying to mimic what the human body is doing, and they're going to be learning a lot from it.
But it could be done in such a way that it was sort of pre-scripted, because of course what's going to happen, which means it could. So that actually is an interesting intermediate.
Just imagine if you take it a little bit further. Maybe you can't get the full body, but you somehow get something close, and then you get it trained up with AI, and then you connect a large language model to it, and just imagine the thing actually learning to act with a real actor, and ad-libbing and doing everything. So imagine it not being scripted. That would be cool. That would
be very cool. That would be very cool. I would like that a lot. I think that's really cool. Okay, so anyway, but something it's very interesting to see just different ways of thinking about doing this stuff.
Yes,
because I think everybody's kind of gotten in the Optimus figure. But Sanctuary also, they're doing more pneumatic based hands. So
yes, they have. I think they have hydraulics in their hands. Yeah, no doubt about
hydraulics,
that.
So, not pneumatics. Okay, I thought
using hydraulics, and they have full movement in the hands. Every company is taking a different approach, and a lot of people want to say this is the best approach or that's the best approach, and it's like, no, you got to take all the approaches. You need to have everyone out there that's doing it. So that's why I'm glad to see that Apptronics is like mostly linear actuators. They're really taking different approach in that, whereas Figure is the other way. It's like almost all rotary, and a lot of the Chinese robots are that way. You see Sanctuary is also taking their own approach, where they're focusing more on the upper body and not so much in the walking. Agility, which is like started from the ground up and wanting to really master walking and everything else, and is finding a good niche there. And again, Boston Dynamics has got, their second generation, what they're going through. Tesla is somewhere in the middle between, Figure and Apptronic as far as the number of linear actuators. And it's like that's the best approach. And they're all going to be good for a certain niche. So if you could easily take one of them and like really criticize, like, wow, it just won't work over here. It's like, okay, so what? It's like, but it's going to be pretty good over there. And there's going to be a lot of learnings, a lot of things we're going to find out about whether that approach works or does not work, or that we may end up having a rather large ecosystem. And that's why I'm really glad to see that these, I don't know if it's going to pan out. It may be that it's just a huge struggle, but at least someone is willing to take that on. And there's going to be some patents coming out of this, no doubt about it. So,
well, I mean, I could also see, that you could have a surgery bot where you need that kind of dexterity, and so even though you can't mass produce, because the big thing in my mind is how do you mass produce that? It's very complicated, and as you say, it might not be durable over a factory workday.
Well, I know how you mass produce it is you build a couple of them and say start building more.
You build more.
It's definitely. So that's the thing is this is there's a lot of things that have to be solved because we don't know about the sensors, we don't know about the durability of the hands and everything on there, and we're not quite sure what the use case is. Are they thinking more of like a domestic kind of servant as opposed to the one that's working in the factory, which is a much more ruggedized environment? And of course, you can always put gloves on the thing. There's always it doesn't it has
or just a thicker skin on it or something to protect
thicker skin, and also you put something else on because humans have to do that too. And also the humanoid bots we're seeing now are going to be wearing their own kind of PPE for factory environments to keep dust and moisture and paint and all sorts of other stuff off. So there's an expectation that you would see something like that. And right now, the bots that are being developed to get them in use cases right now, which is the factory. So starting next year, we're going to start seeing a lot more of that. The end of this year, we're definitely going to be seeing videos demonstrating it's working. I mean, we've already seen agility is already proven that it's able to work, and more than one work environment, and is being productive there. So we know the others are going to start following suit. 2025, we're going to see a lot more of that, but it's going to be, basically the electromechanical actuated robot with limited degrees of freedom. Just the minimal number of degrees of freedom you need to kind of get what you want. And then the next generation ones that we're going to see in the mid 2030s are going to be more like this. They're going to be the ones that are going to start to look really more like humans. Because you look at the hands and you won't be able to tell they're mechanical. It's like, how does that thing work? Because at this, I mean, think about this. It's like I have no idea what's going on in those hands. I can kind of guess what's going on. But when I look at all the other bots out there, it doesn't take much to figure out how they're doing it because you can see where the motors and the actuators are. It's like really clear. 3-degree freedom wrist, because yaw pitch roll, roll pitch, the order of stuff. Like, they kind of messed up. They got an offset in there, all these other things. But these guys, all that stuff is well hidden, and it'll be a lot trickier to kind of figure. And that's really what you would like to do is have a bot that is so convincingly human you can't tell how it's built.
Yeah, and the big, again, a lot of what happens in the human hand is actually related to this area here. So that what they're doing is they're just like with a human, we're offsetting a lot of the work into the forearm.
It's into there. And Tesla is doing that with the next generation. They're moving a lot of the actuators that are in the hand into the forearm. And that's really what triggered my speculation. It says, okay, 22-degree freedom hand, that's interesting, but because of that change and moving the forearm, it's like, wow, that's a lot of changes going on there. And it probably means the whole thing is going to be overhauled. And that sounds like, what it's going to be is the Gen 3 bot by the end of this year will look a lot different. It's not going to look like this one.
No.
But who knows, there may be some minor similarities on the approaches that they try to take to make the hand work better. And it's gonna be exciting to see what they've decided to do with the wrist, whether they're changing the wrist design completely from what they currently have, and maybe they have something else as they move these actuators back. That could be a big surprise.
Yeah, cool. All right. So that was great. Thank you. And before we go, I want to give you a chance to show off Meteor Crater since you're there. We might as well.
Oh, okay. So
there you go. Got to put on your prospector hat, your Oppenheimer hat.
So let's go out there, make sure you don't get a sunburn. And,
here, let me switch it over so that that should be you in charge.
Actually, I just realized I didn't have my
Yeah,
I was charging the whole time. There we go.
There. Okay.
That sounds better. Okay.
That sounds a lot better. Hold on a sec. I don't know why I'm not able to make you the star. Okay, there we go. Now you're the star.
Okay, so there we go. So I don't know if you can see the dish when you're looking through here. It's probably like a little bit dusty. Because I remember Chuck had that picture from his drone showing the Starlink dish. And I can't see it from where I am. If I get like up on the picnic table and try looking on down there, I can't see it. It looks kind of dark in there. But anyways, this is the campground. Yeah, so this is the campground that's just off of I-40, which is the exit to Meteor Crater. The Meteor Crater is, I think, about 10 miles up this way. And because it is like 3/4 of a mile across, you can almost see it from here. So off of the distance, actually behind that gate, and probably have to get a lot closer, you can see it. But nice open area where I think at least 5,000 or 6,000 feet.
You might want to get back towards the car.
I need to get back to the. I'm out of the range of my Wi-Fi. That's the problem. Yes, there we go.
You are exactly.
So it's probably getting a bit too far on the Wi-Fi. Anyway, so yeah, I'll get myself back here, and I think it's it's kind of a nice place to sit out and enjoy the stars.
Yeah.
And that's, I think if you see the telephone poles over there, that's the old Route 66. So that's where Route 66 used to go.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're
just maybe the original one
straight across. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah. So you can see a lot of traffic on the 40. Somewhere, I'm not sure where the train goes by, whether it's on the other side of 40, but it was on the south. I think it's on the other side now. But for the most part, it had been on the south, and that was impressive to see these freight trains going through carrying a lot of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. You're out west and you start seeing those.
Right. Yeah, they like double stack them, and they go on for like a mile. They're just so huge.
Yep.
It's kind of hard to even believe. But
yeah.
A lot of freight gets moved across the U.S. that way.
Yep. And so yeah, here we are in beautiful Arizona, and we'll be meeting up in a couple of days.
That's true.
At the X takeover. It's kind of our duty to let everyone know about that. It's in San Luis Obispo. Yep. And it's this weekend coming up. No, not yes, the next weekend, not because we're in this weekend right now.
Well, I was going to say 7 days from right now, we'll have just finished our panel. So
yes,
there you go.
Exactly. And yes. So if anyone happens to be in Southern California, definitely come join us for that. That should be a lot of fun. It's going to be interesting meeting some people I haven't met before, and of course re-meeting a lot of people I have, and getting a chance to catch up with them. And tomorrow I'm headed to Kingman, which is only about a 3-hour drive from here, which is why I decided to slow down, and meeting up with some of the Tesla group. The Tesla Michigan Owners Group that's coming down. Yep. Bert and Kelly Sloan.
Hi to Kelly and Bert. Yep. Hi to Kelly and Bert.
Yep. And Ken and Karen. Also, Karen's also known as the Tesla Granny. Yes, so they'll be coming along, and then Dirty Tesla I think is coming down, but not with that crew. Okay. I'm not sure if he's flying. I mean, they're taking a long time to come down here. They're making lots of stops on the way. Gotcha. And bringing at least one Cybertruck, so someone's going to drive the whole way.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's right. No FSD, man. Ugh. By the way, if people haven't seen it, you can check out my video about full self-driving up here. But in Southern California, I found it to be very equivalent to Georgia in the feeling of confidence. And, people say it's very much attuned to California, but at least in Southern California, and not in a bad way, it felt like it was good. I'm like, oh, it's good to know that Georgia is pretty much on par with Southern California in terms of like the feel of the car. So that was just interesting to find out. Yeah. All right. Well,
good to know.
We're going to talk about robot hands on next Saturday at the takeover, because of course we are. So
yeah. One of many things we'll probably be talking about.
Exactly. Yeah, we've got a whole half hour to just talk about the future of Tesla, which is It's going to be a little crazy. So we'll see what we can fit in there. All right, cool. Thanks everybody for being part of this, and we will see you in the next video, of course. And if you're in San Luis Obispo next weekend, we'll see you in person. Bye-bye.
Yep. Okay. Bye-bye.